And our next story is from Niger. It's been over 2 weeks since the country witnessed a coup, and there seems to be no solution in sight. All international requests to the Niger junta have fallen flat, and the hopes for dialogue are only fading. And to make matters worse, the drums of war are only growing louder. 4 days back, the president of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu, threatened to use military force and reverse the coup in Niger. He faced backlash over this. Nigeria's parliament, in fact, opposed it. And 4 days on, his assertion is finding takers. Have a look at this headline. This Thursday, the Economic Community of West African States, a regional bloc also known as ECOWAS, is meeting. And this meeting will be held in Nigeria's capital. The agenda essentially will be to discuss ways to deal with the coup in Niger. Now remember, ECOWAS leaders had earlier given Niger's military junta an ultimatum to cede power within 7 days or face a military intervention. The deadline came and went, the junta remains firm, and now the ECOWAS is meeting once again. Will it finally go ahead with the military intervention is the big question. And if not, what else can it really do? And to understand that, we have to first understand the body itself, its functioning. What exactly is ECOWAS? It is a regional group established in the year 1975 through the Lagos Treaty. The aim was to promote economic integration among its members. How many members does the body have? There are a total of 15. Benin, Burkina Faso, Cape Verde, Ivory Coast, the Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Mali, Niger, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Senegal, and Togo. Now, ever since its inception, the ECOWAS has also served as a peacekeeping force in the region, by the way, with member states occasionally sending joint military forces in order to intervene in the bloc's member countries during times of unrest or political instability. Let's take you back to the year 1990. It deployed forces in Liberia during the deadly civil war, and then in 1997, it intervened in Sierra Leone. When a democratically elected government was overthrown, and in 2017, it intervened in the Gambia after its longtime president, Yahya Jammeh, refused to step down after losing elections. But in recent years, this has not happened. Some of the biggest countries in the bloc have witnessed coups, like Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso. And instead of intervening militarily, the bloc suspended the 3 member states and refused to recognize their new governments. The question is, will it do the same in Niger? Well, so far, the group has hinted at a military intervention, and even if it goes ahead with that plan, it still faces many challenges. For instance, on Monday, Mali and Burkina Faso, both neighbors of Niger, run by military juntas, said that they were sending a delegation of officials to the country to show support. And that's not all. They even said that they would consider any attack on Niger as an attack on them as well. The other option before ECOWAS is imposing economic sanctions. But the group may hesitate in doing this because all these countries are also dealing with low economic growth prospects at the moment. Imposing sanctions would only make them suffer more and make the life of the common man even tougher. In fact, on Thursday, when the ECOWAS assembles in Abuja, all these measures will be on the table. So will be the risks of taking each of them, and any decision they will take will be crucial, to say the least, not just for Niger, but for the entire West African region. Let's now shift our focus to the United States, a country which likes to project itself as the flag bearer of people's rights, freedom, equality. Well, the situation on the ground is far from that. Have a look at what's happening at the White House itself. The gender pay gap issue there is making headlines around the world. The US president claims to be a crusader for women's rights. But the gender pay gap this year at the White House stands at 20%. Our next report telling you more.
And that's not hyperbole. It's going to shape what the next two generations look like.
During his 2020 presidential campaign, Joe Biden pledged to close the gender pay gap and fight gender discrimination. In June 2021, he signed an executive order. He called on the Office of Personnel Management to review compensation packages and report back to the president on how to advance equal pay. In 2022, US President Joe Biden went a step further, proclaiming the 15th of March as Equal Pay Day, promising to advance pay equity in the federal workforce, ensure equitable access to good-paying jobs, and address discrimination.
Gender equality is not a woman's issue alone. It benefits everybody. That's a fact. It benefits everyone. Our society, our economy, and our country.
But despite those pledges, the US president is yet to put his own house in order. The White House. Figures from the annual pay report reveal just how concerning the situation really is. The analysis of the report revealing that under Biden's administration, women staff members on average earn 80 cents for every dollar paid to their male counterparts, and this figure was 89 cents under President Barack Obama in the year 2016. In fact, it fell to as low as 73 cents the following year under President Trump. And incidentally, women hold some of the most senior positions in the Biden administration. A total of 269 women work at the White House, while men account for 179 positions. Yet, analysis shows that the median salary of men in Biden's staff is $105,000, while the median salary of female staff is significantly lower at $84,000. The annual pay report submitted to the Congress, in fact, disclosed the names, positions, and salaries of over 440 staff members. While the difficulty in closing the gender pay gap at the White House speaks volumes, especially for those who view it as gender discrimination and economic injustice, experts believe that if Joe Biden cannot address the problem, then it would be irresponsible for the White House and others to justify new policy proposals. According to reports, over his 35-year Senate career, Joe Biden paid women less than men every single year. In fact, at one point, women working for Joe Biden were paid just 44 cents for every dollar paid to men. And as Biden seeks another term in office, it remains to be seen if he actually practices what he preaches. An Indian parliamentary committee has proposed that the judges of the country's top court and high court should declare their assets. It says this would bring more trust and credibility into the system. Will the judges agree? And what is the committee's argument here? Basically, it says that the people, the public, have the right to know. Candidates standing for elections as members of parliament or legislative assembly are required to do the same, so the judges should do the same. The recommendation was made at a parliamentary panel on law and justice. It was chaired by India's ruling party, Sushil Modi. Let's take you back in time. In 1997, the Indian top court adopted a charter. It was called the Restatement of Values of Judicial Life. It basically lays down judicial standards for apex court and high court judges. This resolution mandated every top court and high court judge to declare their assets and liabilities at the beginning of every year. And later, in 2019, the top court decided to disclose the statement to the public through its official website. However, the full court later resolved to declare the assets purely on a voluntary basis. 55 judges have so far uploaded their assets and declaration on the website. The last update was done back in the year 2018. No judge has declared their assets in the last 5 years. The charter does not have any authority for legal enforcement. It's only a moral obligation. The panel on law and justice also mentioned that India's higher judiciary suffers from a diversity deficit. It says the representation of marginalized sections of the society and women in the higher judiciary is far below the desired levels, that it does not reflect the social diversity of the country. In fact, the panel has also advocated for increasing the retirement age of the judges and called for doing away with long summer and winter vacations. Several committee members pointed out that the long vacations affect speedy resolution of the piled-up cases. Friction between the government and the judiciary is not uncommon. Judges may have their criticism for some of the committee proposals. Will the judges agree to declaring their assets? Shorter vacations? How will things unfold? WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.